That Quackity lore stream yesterday was crazy, and it's not just for the insane plot points he explores in the actual stream. No, there is much more that me and my friend Ruby unearthed while rewatching the VOD that makes this stream, and a little bit of Foolish's stream afterwards, perhaps the most important lore stream from the Dream SMP till date. You don't want to miss this one, and also subscribe. We just hit 60,000 subscribers on this channel, which is insane, and I cannot thank you all enough. We've got insane stuff coming up, from illegal items to Charlie Slimecicle possibly being the most powerful being on the server, to Quackity explicitly showing us, the viewers, that he has some abilities which aren't exactly human. We start off with Quackity and Dream, and an idea popped into my head when the stream started, an idea that provided an overarching theme for the rest of the stream, and also is further strengthened by Quackity's actions later in the stream. You see, the Dream SMP is extremely cyclical in nature, and I'll talk more about this later, but the thing is, with the Dream SMP, tropes, characters, arcs, and themes are constantly repeated, especially for narrative effect. The interesting part to notice at the very start of the stream is that Quackity, by torturing Dream in prison and trying to punish him for his crimes on the server, is becoming almost exactly like Dream. Let me explain why with a side-by-side comparison of Dream and Quackity's previous actions. And let's start with Dream, shall we? Stuck in prison with Tommy, irritated and generally angry, Dream killed Tommy to prove a point. He wanted to show Sam the consequences of his actions and tried to make him change by using another character's death. In a very similar vein, the stream yesterday revealed that Quackity, while at the Red Banquet, did something very similar. Although Foolish's death wasn't directly caused by Quackity, like how Dream killed Tommy, in this case, the inaction was later confirmed by Quackity to be deliberate, thought out, and meaningful. By not saving Foolish, by staying in those walls, Quackity essentially did kill him. He let Foolish die in the banquet, according to him, for one reason alone: to prove a point. He tried to make Foolish change from his peaceful ways, tried to make the man snap and return to violence, and he tried to make him change in this way by, you guessed it, using another character's death. That's not all though. The thing which got me thinking about this was the fact that there are an unholy amount of parallels between Dream being held hostage in prison and tortured by Quackity and the TommyInnit exile arc. Both include a figure with physical power forcing another person into submission for some sort of perceived personal gain. Dream kept Tommy in exile to try and retain his power over every member of the server, and to try and keep the one person who consistently dared to challenge him and his emotional leverage suppressed, and this personal gain, the suppression, eventually faded into some sort of twisted entertainment for him. In, well, almost the exact same manner, but just to a more extreme extent, Quackity, let's say he interrogated Dream almost every day for the initial perceived gain of the Revive book. The desire eventually faded away, however, and Quackity was... Let me just play the stream clip, and you can see for yourself.
You either write that goddamn note, or I will kill you. I am not joking, I will fucking kill you.
No, you won't kill
I don't
me.
care anymore. I don't... What, is it the book? Are you threatening me with the fucking revival book? Guess what,
Yeah,
Dream?
you mean
I
that's what you
don't
wanted
care
the whole
anymore.
time.
I don't care anymore about the book. I don't give a crap about the fucking book anymore. You understand me? I don't give a shit. I've lost interest in that thing. At this point, the only reason I come and torture you so much every single day is merely as a reminder, because at the end of the day, no matter how many times I fucking torture you, that will never amount to the amount of fucking evil you've done to this entire server and everyone in it. So you know what?
Because you like it. You like torturing me.
You know what? You know what? I might. I don't give a shit.
Okay, so we have the first bit done. Quackity's emulating Dream subtly while ironically trying to punish Dream for doing the exact same thing he's doing. Cool, what's next, I hear you say? Actually, I don't hear you say that. I'm quite literally writing this and listening to MCC music days before it goes live, so there's just completely no way I could hear you say that. Anyway, up next we have what I found the coolest about the stream, and something which didn't actually click in my head on my first watch through, and therefore which I think you'll find very interesting. Watch this clip, if you will. Notice anything off? If you did, good spot, because you see in this clip, the thief, who is later revealed to be Quackity, has an Elytra. Elytras are only accessible in survival Minecraft by visiting an end city which has a ship on it. An end city. The end is locked on the Dream SMP, so no character or no player can enter it, because Dream XD, the god of the server, the person who enforces rules, thwarts them at every turn. So how on earth did Quackity get this Elytra? The short answer is that we don't know for sure. The long answer is that we don't... Okay, but the real long answer is that there are two in-game methods of getting illegal items on the Dream SMP. Drista and Ranboo's hands. The illegal items that Ranboo's hands gives are spawners, which obviously aren't Elytra. Or are they? Okay, no, I'm not stretching that hard. There's no way that Ranboo got Quackity that Elytra. Must be Drista then. On the rare occasions that Drista logs onto the server's Dream, there have been instances where she's given out a bunch of illegal items before. Technoblade got a piece of bedrock from her, Punz got a shulker box. It's possible that Quackity got an Elytra for one of those drops. We haven't seen it on camera, it was never teased, and it would be a very weird addition, but honestly, this is the only in-game way I can see Quackity actually getting the Elytra. Well, there's also another headcanon that since Quackity is regarded by most of the fandom to be a hybrid duck and human, the wings we see here are those, similar to how Phil had wings that were destroyed in the L'Manberg explosion. That aside though, I just have a really slimy topic for you next, so now that we're done with the wings part. That's right, we're talking Slimecicle. Finally! Charlie's in the Dream SMP lore, and his segment was, as usual, incredibly funny. However, I don't care. This channel is for serious lore analysis only, no jokes allowed. Now that we're all appropriately somber, the first slime we... Okay, the first time we see Charlie, he's hiding in the walls of Quackity's restaurant, and he's apparently been waiting there, listening for weeks and weeks. It's pretty interesting. Slimes can live and stay sedentary for hundreds of thousands of years and be perfectly fine. They won't age much at all. It's almost like some sort of slime dilation? Okay, I'll stop with the stupid slime puns, but I'm just extremely excited for Charlie's inclusion and his possible powers. We know that slimes can live forever when undisturbed, which is cool, but not super overpowered. No, the reason I brought up Charlie here was because in the pre-lore explanation documentary, the presenter says this.
That the only way slimes can evolutionize into ordinary items around you is through arduous adaptation of their environment.
Through arduous adaptation to their environment. In other words, slimes can only change form when their situation forces them to. For example, Charlie changing from a block to a human to try and not get completely destroyed by Quackity in the clip we see on stream, and therefore vice versa. When Charlie is in a bad situation and needs to blend in, he could literally, and the video states this pretty explicitly, become any block to blend in. That's insanely powerful, and not just for espionage, since the block he turns into would have all of its properties. Need a quick jump pad? Boom, slime block. Need to hide in a cave? He can turn into a literal stone. This ability, the power that Charlie has, is insanely powerful, perhaps making him one of the, if not the most innately powerful being on the server, behind like Dream XD and Ranboo if he finally unlocks the ability to teleport, especially once you consider everything he's learned and heard while inadvertently spying on the entire server in slime form. Let's move back to Quackity for a second though, because the rest of the stream highlighted something that I found super interesting, and also a parallel that not many have drawn as far as I've seen. Sure, Quackity is emulating Dream, but he's also emulating Wilbur. Here's why I say this, and it's definitely to a lesser extent than Dream, don't get me wrong, but Quackity's recruitment strategy for Las Nevadas bears all the hallmarks of a classic Wilbur manipulation. I even came up with a formula while watching the stream. Quackity's targets all share a few things in common with both each other and Quackity. They've all been primed in a way. And the main thing I want to point out here is that they've all been cast aside, overlooked, and outsiders before. Quackity being fired from Shalat's cabinet, Foolish never really belonging to any country, not even Snowchester, Purple getting ignored by Dream and L'Manberg in the one conflict he helped in and then becoming a complete lone wolf mercenary, and Fundy, who gets unequivocally betrayed or abandoned by nearly every character he interacts with. So, according to this formula, first Quackity takes something away from the character he's trying to recruit, something which ties them to their past. He either takes it away physically like he did with Purple's UFO where he blew it up, or he takes it away mentally by taking the idea of their previous life and forcing his influence into a way of living that they'll no longer enjoy, just thanks to the sheer power of his words. Quackity did what everyone has done to Fundy in the past and pulled on his memories, played with his emotions to get him to trust him, and then pulled the rug from under his feet, telling him that none of his memories matter and that he in turn doesn't matter, implying to the poor fox that his past life doesn't matter. He makes a similar argument to Foolish, who we can see from his lore stream directly afterwards is heavily influenced by Quackity's words and is forced to reconsider his style of living simply because of how well Quackity tore it down, and we even see Fundy arriving at Las Nevadas at the end of the stream. And then second, Quackity offers them a way out. Since the common thread linking all of these people is a loose attachment to a past they were unseen in, what Quackity effectively does is cut that tie, harshly sever that attachment to the past forever, and then offers them a better life, a life with the promise of being known and not abandoned and having meaning, having purpose. How true are these promises? We don't know yet, but what we know for sure is that all three of the recruits were convinced enough to come and negotiate with Quackity later, because of the end of the Foolish stream later, as I mentioned earlier. Charlie is a given that he'll join since his character is, how do I say this, not the slimiest tool in the shed. This manipulation, this classic usage, or should I say misusage of words, this abuse of the silver tongue that seems to come to Quackity naturally, that's a classic Wilbur move to do, especially when you consider that Wilbur also played on people's desire to belong to rise to power with LEMMiNO. Okay, so Quackity is emulating two of the main people that are called villains on the server. What next? Well, he'll emulate another presumed villain, of course, and he does exactly that by showing to us, the viewer, that he can do what this shadowy figure from Fundy streams could do and enter Fundy's mind. Now, don't get me wrong, he can't mind control Fundy. There would be no point in showing himself to the fox if he could do that. No, he can just enter Fundy's mind, a little like the movie Inception, if you've seen that. Normal people, shock horror, can't enter people's minds, and therefore there are two conclusions that we draw. Either A, Quackity's had these powers all along and only just started using them or learned to use them, or B, much more scarily, Quackity has found a way to give himself those powers, a way to, in effect, become much more powerful than any regular human. You should check out this original song I posted a few days ago next, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Subscribe!